Hello and welcome back to the Film Custodian show. And we're back in the garage, as you can see. And today we're talking about a little movie called John Wick Chapter 4. Alright, so John Wick Chapter 4. I remember when the first John Wick came out in 2014. It was actually a couple years later. It was either 2015, it could have even been actually 2016. Is when I actually sat down and watched the first John Wick film. And I was pretty much like, wow, this is different. The choreography is different, the story is different, the mythology is different. Everything about it is something new, something fresh. And I thought, well, this is really cool because when it first came out on DVD, I saw it like in the store at Walmart or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, Keanu Reeves is another B movie, B action film. I don't really care. I'm not gonna watch it. And then it was a couple years, it was a little while later when I started to see reviews of it, and that it was actually something more than just some kind of little film that Keanu Reeves was in just to pay the bills or whatnot. So it kind of became, it was kind of just another B movie action film to being the action film, like the action franchise. John Wick is the action film establishment now. I mean, it is the franchise to watch. And it just kept getting better and better. I thought Chapter 2 was an improvement in a couple of ways, kind of went backwards in a couple other ways, and then Chapter 3 was just amazing. It was my favorite. But Chapter 4, nope. Chapter 4 I think tops it all. Chapter 4 is just amazing. The fight choreography continues to get better and better and better. There's not a lot of, there's basically no shaky cam. I know the Bourne series really kind of made the shaky cam pretty popular in the early thousands. The Bourne trilogy came out in 2002, 4, and 2007, and that was the style that it was doing. You know, we're shaking the camera over the place, and Matt Damon's punching, and you can't really see what's going on. Because it was supposed to be like, they're so fast, he's so fast, my God, he's Jason Bourne, oh my God, right? That kind of popularized that. And then with the exception of martial arts films and stuff, which, like Donnie Yen or Jet Li were in at the time, they were doing a lot of shaky cam. And it got overplayed. They were more worried about shaking the camera than actually sitting down and doing good photography, good choreography. And then you also have Christopher Nolan with Batman Begins. There was a lot of quick cutting, but the reason he did that was, well, again, it's like, he's so fast, it's all disorienting, it's like we're put as the viewer in the position of the criminals that are trying to fight Batman, but he's so fast and quick. But the Dark Knight trilogy, those fight scenes got better and better and better as well. And then you get the Batman, which has just better fight choreography, I think, altogether. The fighting is better in the Batman than the Dark Knight trilogy. Partly because they just sit down, like the old-fashioned days, like the old days, the 40s with Errol Flynn fighting with a sword, and they lock the camera down and just let the scene take place, right? There's very little cutting. Everything is a wider shot or a medium shot, and you're just watching the action play out. You're letting the photography, but you're letting the choreography tell the story. You're letting the choreography be its thing. You don't need to enhance anything, with shaky cam and whatnot. This movie was just amazing. I don't know. How can you not like this? It's nonstop action. The set pieces are amazing. It's action that it just continues to get better and better, and there's just new creative ways for John Wick to kill people. If he's taking his gun and just shoving it up to someone's face and just releasing the entire clip into it, or just grabbing a guy and throwing him off of a balcony or whatever. Just new and creative ways. There's the new villain in this film is Skarsgård. He's absolutely amazing, and I do agree when people say he's the best Bond villain to not be in a James Bond film, because he is. He's fantastic. I think he's a great villain. I think he's my favorite villain actually of the entire series of all 4 films. He's my favorite villain. Let's talk about some of this action. So there's this overhead shot where you're looking overhead, and I was audibly in the theater going like, how did they do this? How are they doing this? What is going on? Because it's so good. They're on the ground level, then the camera goes up, It's probably on a gimbal, possibly. They go up and over, and now you're actually looking over the inside of the building itself. You know, you see the walls and everything, and you're just sort of following John Wick through the various rooms as he's just got this shotgun thing firing with like dragon fire, it's called, where it's just spluttering bullets everywhere, and it goes on and on and on for like 10 minutes. It's amazing. And I think a lot of it was one shot. Either that or, you know, very cleverly edited together, and it's just amazing. I mean, there's another shot where it's John Wick falling down a flight of stairs, but it's like 10 flights of stairs just going down and down and down and down and down, and then just keeps going and going and going, and the action scenes go on. Some of these action scenes, it feels like 15-20 minutes. I mean, but the film is almost 3 hours long, but I never felt the runtime. It was just like, what's next? Give me more. Give me more. I want more. So yeah, that's just, it's just absolutely incredible. The story is, of course, you know, the table is trying to kill John, and John is, at this point, what's kind of interesting is that the focus isn't entirely on John Wick this time. It's on kind of the side characters as well, specifically Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen shows up. Donnie Yen is incredible as always. You know, he was in, I remember him from Killzone. Killzone was a fantastic film. So I've kind of followed him. I've been watching him for years. He's great. And he's still got it. He's playing another blind man, like not unlike in Rogue One, where he was also a blind character. Yeah, I guess, so if I was going to say anything, I don't really have anything bad to say about this film, I guess. If I was going to say anything negative about this particular John Wick, it would be that for a while there, it did almost feel like it was losing its soul. And what I mean by that is that this is the least amount that John has always been a man of few words. You know, it's always just, you know, I need a gun, or good to see you. You know, like, it's very just, you know, oh, maybe not. Maybe I won't die. You know, like, whatever. But there was a lot more talking, and it became less and less and less and less and less, to the point where he almost becomes a caricature of himself. He almost just becomes the, you know, what people expect, and the character of John Wick itself is somewhere buried. But that kind of goes way more towards the second half, because the heart and soul of the John Wick series is his wife died, and you need to have that connection because that's what's keeping him alive, right? The dog was all he had left of her, and then they kill the dog, and then it's like dominoes, and the whole thing just goes downhill from there. You know, and that's where we end up with 4 films. Coffee. So you end up with 4 films, and one of the things, and that's kind of the glue, even in the 3rd film, it's like, why do you want to live? What's the point? He's like, I want to live so I can remember her, you know? And it's like, okay, you're fine, all right. So that's the motivation. In this film, it's very much like the motivation for living. I mean, it's even kind of spelled out. Like Skarsgård's character is like, there's 3 kinds of guys. There's a guy that has something to fight for, has something to live for, has something to kill for. Donnie Yen has all 3 of those things. John Wick doesn't have any of those things. So it's like, what are you hanging on to? And so there's sort of this theme that everyone around John Wick is like, John Wick, you're destroying everything you touch. Like, you know, because of you now, you know, my hotel is being destroyed, or I lost, this person is dead now because of you, John. It's all your fault, John. Just die already, you know, to kind of give everybody else a break, basically. Like, you know, just, so it's like, what is he even living for? And that's, it's really, it becomes, to save everybody else, he kind of has to continue on and, you know, kill all the baddies and everything, and then he'll save everybody else. I mean, and that's basically it. It's very, very simple. I mean, it's all about the action and the stunts, which are absolutely amazing. It's just, this is the best action film I've seen since Mad Max Fury Road. That film is a freaking masterpiece. I would say this film is a masterpiece of action as well. Like I said, that was really my only real nitpick, was that it did kind of feel that way in the first half, like, okay, we might be losing a bit of the soul here, and we're just kind of going through the motions. So, you know, he didn't completely lose his soul, so to speak. The film didn't lose its soul. And I think it's I haven't really decided if this is my favorite John Wick film yet, or if it's better than 3. I think in a lot of ways it's the best one. In some ways, I think 3 is a little bit better. But either way, it's definitely up. It's definitely up there with the best. So yeah, 3 and 4 are definitely the best. I think. I don't know. They're all good. There isn't a bad John Wick film. It's actually pretty incredible if that's even possible these days. Because franchises eventually just end up drying up and dying. Looking at you, Marvel. Yeah, everybody's still incredible. Ian McShane, who plays Winston, is still absolutely fantastic. He kind of becomes the heart and soul in a way where, when John Wick is kind of when his character is kind of getting lost a little bit, we still have Winston, I guess, being John Wick's conscience in a way, where he'll always talk to him, Winston, what should I do? And then, Winston will give some kind of words of advice or wisdom or something like that. So, oh no, the casting is great, the characters are great, the action is incredible. It's very well shot. I think the films get shot better and better, and the action gets better and better. Chad Stahelski, who's the director of all 4 of them, he co-directed the first one. I think he becomes more and more comfortable with the action, and I can't wait to see what he does next. I guess he's supposed to direct, as of right now, a film adaptation of the Ghost of Tsushima, which would be fantastic. It's pretty clear he can do the martial arts thing. He can do, Japanese samurai stuff. Great. Wonderful. It could be, I think that's potentially a match made in heaven. It could be fantastic. So, all right. This has been the Film Custodian Show. Go watch John Wick 4. See you later.